welcome to the Dual Horizon podcast. I'm very excited to have Johanna with us here today. She's from Bay Lifestyle and Beyond Asana Yoga School. Hello, Johanna. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing great. And you're in beautiful Puerto Rico, right? Okay, amazing. So why don't you give us a little bit of your background and how you came about of teaching yoga?
Perfect. Yeah, so I'm an MBA by education, but I found the practice of yoga when I kind of had a hard time with my business when I was younger. I've been practicing since 2008 and I've been teaching since 2011. And I started the school in California in the Bay Area, and I've just loved it ever since. I do a little coaching. So Bay Lifestyle is a coaching business and Bay stands for Beyond Asana Yoga. And, I realized that most people don't really understand what yoga is about. So I kind of made it my mission in life to help people kind of deepen their understanding on the yoga philosophy and how yoga is really more than just a physical practice. It's truly a lifestyle.
Okay, interesting. So where shall we start? You want to go into that? The main here that is on the top of my mind when you're speaking about most people don't know really what yoga is about. Let's maybe start there, yeah?
All right, sure. So yoga is it's been written down for 5,000 years. It was taught from student to teacher verbally before that. But for 5,000 years, the philosophy of yoga has been in books called the Vedas. And then more recently, 2,500 years ago, in the books called the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali. And here it's stated that yoga is the cessation of the fluctuations of your mind. So yoga is actually a practice with which you learn what your thoughts are and how they affect your reality and how you approach life and everything that you do in life. So although the physical practice is definitely a way for us to learn how to focus our mind, yoga goes much beyond that. There's something called the 8 limbs of yoga. They start with the yamas and the niyamas, which is basically how you act in society and then how you treat yourself. Then goes to asana, which is the physical practice. Then it goes to pranayama, which is breathing in order for you to affect your energy. So prana is life force. It's not just our breath, but it's how we can use our breath in order to affect how we are feeling, how we are reacting to different things. Then from there, the 5th limb is pratyahara. Pratyahara means withdrawal of the senses. So it's your ability to remain in your energy, regardless of the things that you're listening to, that you're smelling, that you're tasting, that you're going through, that are affecting the things around you. Then from there, it's dharana, and dharana is our ability to focus our mind on a one point or one thought or one item or one thing. Then after that, you have dhyana, which is meditation. And the goal of yoga is to lead you to samadhi, which is to understand that we are all just a part of one experience. And the fact that we feel separate is only in our minds. It's basically a thought telling us that we are separate and that we are having a separate experience. So yoga goes so much deeper than a physical practice. And it's been minimized really to this physical thing with yoga pants and yoga mats and hot yoga studios. But truly, the benefits of yoga come when you learn how to incorporate the teachings into your day-to-day life.
Right. And that's obviously what it has been meant for thousands of years. All in Western culture, like so many times, we try to distill things down, kind of like, you know, put our own versions of it and think that's the better version, discounting really what has been taught for thousands of years, right?
Yeah, exactly. And truly, the benefits again come with understanding who we are and understanding our thought processes and understanding how our energy affects us and it affects everything around us. Because oftentimes we live life as a victim, thinking that things are happening to us, and we fail to look at ourselves. And that's a huge part of yoga also. It teaches you to take responsibility for the life that you are living and the things that you're manifesting in your life.
Interesting. So what's your model like when it comes down to teaching and helping people integrate the true teaching and virtues of yoga? Tell us a little bit about your process.
Well, there's two different programs. The one that I use in the coaching world is called ELM, Evolutionary Life Mapping. And what we do is we kind of break down your life into the internal aspects of you and the external things that affect you so that we can sort of pinpoint where are the cessations of your mind? Like, why is it that you cannot still your mind? What are those thoughts that are consistently bringing you out of peace and harmony so that we can kind of direct our energy into altering those things in your life through different tools. In terms of the school, I train yoga teachers. So we have a 200 and 300 hour Yoga Alliance internationally recognized yoga program, which to be honest, 90% of my students have not become yoga teachers, but you can become a yoga teacher once you take these programs. Most of the people that attend this school are really just wanting to deepen the practice for themselves. And here you learn all about the history, the philosophy, the Yoga Sutras. You learn a lot about how to incorporate yoga in every moment of your life by sort of becoming the observer of your thoughts instead of always having conversations with them, which is what usually causes those fluctuations of the mind.
And is that an online course, or how do people take that?
It's a hybrid program. So we do 2 weeks online and about 20 days, well, 18 to 20 days here in Puerto Rico. I have a yoga center down here. I have 7 beds in 4 rooms. And I bring my students down here and it's all inclusive. So once they arrive in Puerto Rico, we pick them up from the airport and we feed them the whole time that we're here. Because I really feel like when you immerse yourself in it with a bunch of like-minded people, you are much more likely to be able to take those tools and apply them into your daily life. When you're doing an online program, and this is based on experience, when you're doing an online program, you don't get as much out of it because you have so many different things still pulling you in different directions. You have your family, you have your life, you have your work. So when you take the time off to come down here, you are
Hmm.
literally eating, breathing yoga. So it's an easier way to sort of understand not just how to incorporate the physical practice, but how
Right.
that bleeds into your daily life.
Very nice. So the hybrid program, interesting. And okay, so and then from a technology perspective, because obviously on the Dual Horizon podcast, I always like to see how you incorporate that. So are you using Zoom meetings, any other platforms? Obviously, your website is a way to kind of reach people and connect with them. Give me a little bit an idea on how you're using technology to reach people and connect with you.
Definitely. Well, all of our advertising and marketing is obviously done online. We use a lot of social media. We use a lot of websites that are retreat-based websites. And then the hybrid part of it, the online part, is done over Zoom. And then we use a lot of videos. I'm a big learn from so many different people. And I feel like it would be a disservice to my students for them to just learn from me. So I'm huge on using videos and zooming in other teachers from other countries and even bringing in other teachers from other places so that they can learn and kind of hear the message from more than one person because I mean people hear things and even though it's the same thing by hearing it said differently by different people it sticks
Hmm.
more from one person to another. So we use a lot of technology in terms of just showing videos and things for students to be able to experience other teachers as well.
Beautiful. And then how often do you have the courses to be certified? Is that a few times a year or?
Yeah, we do 4 courses a year and then we have retreats as well.
Hmm.
Now in April, we have a weekend retreat that's a chakras healing retreat. So we'll have astrology, we'll have sound healing, we'll have cacao ceremonies, we'll do tarot readings, palm readings, and sort of do what people would consider a vision board, but it's a little bit different idea of what most people think of a vision board. But it's kind of
Okay.
just to look at what are you trying to manifest in your life. And then in terms of the programs, oftentimes we're here in Puerto Rico. Other times I've done them in Costa Rica, I've done them in Bali, I've done them in Miami, I've done them in California. So we also travel and have them in different parts of the world, depending on who brings me in to teach, and whether we plan. Next year, we're probably going to Nicaragua, to this beautiful space out there. So It really depends, but at least 4 of them a year,
Mm,
and I do one once a month. We have like a half day retreat that's all donation based because my goal is to really spread this knowledge to as many people as possible. And I realize that yoga has become very inaccessible to a lot of communities. So through these donation based events, we make sure that money isn't an object. Like we have suggested donations, but if you can't donate anything, I don't care. I
mm,
just want you to be here and I want you to learn. So we have those once a month. And retreats, we do about 3 a year. We did one in Bali last year. Then I was in Nepal and I taught a little bit while I was there. So it depends on the year and the location. We like to travel, so we pick a lot of different places so that our students can kind of see the world as well.
okay, beautiful, beautiful. So, what kind of lessons or suggestions or advice do you have for current yoga teachers, somebody that's in the business, maybe is in that routine of kind of like compartmentalizing, so to speak, yoga into just that physical aspect? Obviously, they can reach out to you and connect with you, but what are some of the things that maybe come to mind to kind of like open up their journey, or even if somebody's interested in exploring that broader aspect from what we spoke about at the beginning?
Well, definitely the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali are an amazing tool just because when yoga was first written down, it was basically accounts of different teachers who had had enlightening experiences. So if you read the Vedas and you read the Upanishads, there really isn't like a cohesive message because it's so many different people just giving their experiences. Meanwhile, the Yoga Sutras, what Patanjali did was put together basically everything that every teacher went through that they had in common and kind of made steps that we could follow. First of all, with the physical practice, a lot of people practice with their ego. And the biggest thing is to let go of that ego and to really meet yourself where you are every day on the mat. Because when you wake up in the morning, you don't feel the same way every day. Like we wake up and randomly have weird moods or weird energies. And it's really important for us to honor ourselves and honor where we are each and every day. And the same thing happens on your mat. Let's say you slept weird. Well, maybe your physical practice isn't going to be as grand as it is when you get a full night of sleep and you've been well rested. So it's important for us to understand that a lot of what yoga does is to teach you how to self assess how you are every single moment of your life. And through being the observer of your thoughts, it really helps to see what things in your life are kind of picking at you that aren't allowing you that peace of mind. Because
Mm,
really that's what we all want, right? We all want to be okay with ourselves. Like it's never a situation, it's always ourselves because we may be with other people, but who we are with 24/7 is ourselves and our thoughts. So when we understand that the conversations that we have in our minds don't need to exist, if we can become the observer of the thoughts as they come, and we can kind of ask ourselves why the thoughts are coming up, it becomes a different relationship that we have with our thoughts and with ourselves and with the way that we see things. We start to understand that reality isn't one. Reality is 8 billion. It's every single person is living and experiencing a different reality based on the way they think, the experiences that they've had, and the upbringing and the things that have impacted them in their lives. So yoga, through the Yoga Sutras and through understanding kind of those different steps or what he calls the 8 limbs of yoga, that's like the core teaching of the practice, and it's the
mhm.
core thing that we should follow if we really want to live a yogic lifestyle, not just for the physical aspect, but more for the peace that comes from understanding our thoughts and how we relate to them.
Right, right. Beautiful, beautiful. Wow, great insight and great information to consider. How do people reach out to you? Tell us your website or social handles how to access you.
My website is bay-lifestyle.com, and they can find us on Instagram at bay_lifestyle PR. That's always the easiest way. Or you can call me. I'm always down for a chat. I really just love to get people's ideas and
Right.
experiences. And even if they don't agree, I love to have conversations. Like I'm a very open-minded person. I realize that because most people don't understand these aspects of yoga, it's best to have a conversation so that they can get their questions out and kind of get a broader and
Right.
deeper view of what it could be for them.
Beautiful, beautiful. Well, Johanna, thank you so much for being on the Dual Horizon podcast. Very enlightening conversation today. Until the next time, thank you so much.
Thanks for having me, Will.
Bye bye.